Hey, we're here. I think we're gonna hope this doesn't like fail like it did last time, where we got a whole 4 minutes of show. I see me.
It was a good 4 minutes, though. It was a good.
Yeah, it was a really sporadic 4 minutes, I guess. But all right.
Terrible.
So we're here. We had a little, I guess, international break. Stuff happens. Life gets busy. You know, you all know how that goes. There's a lot to talk about, so we'll just kind of scoot on through it. There was like a bajillion and one games, and then there's like a lot of other stuff to talk about. So, yeah, we'll just get in our typical kind of lightning round fashion. We will scoot through some games. Again, I don't know how much time we'll have for questions today, but you know, chat in that little box. If you have any, or want to just give some answers, we always like to interact with you guys watching the show.
I'd be okay if we only talked about the games like a minute each, because that's not even the important stuff.
That's kind of the plan. I'm just gonna do what I do when we have really busy weeks. Just kind of scoot through, give the goal scores. If anything happened and anyone wants to say anything, just for you in the show, either type it in the chat or like flag me down or something like that, and interrupt me and say, "Hey, pick me." Otherwise, we'll just kind of scoot on through and go. What are you?
Don't get distracted by the dogs. I will run this. I will take it from you if you get distracted by dogs.
Well, I'm not getting distracted. We're just doing a lot of stuff right now. So, all right. First up, we had. I'm just going to go in the order. If I miss one, let me know, because I probably did. But first, Wednesday, there were 3 games. First game, Wednesday, the Courage beat the Spirit 2-0. I thought I clicked the box score for this, but I guess I didn't. Dabinia scored the goal. Des McDonald scored another goal, assisted by Crystal Dunn. What do we say about the Courage? I mean, they just keep scooting along, and
that's what they do.
With their win Saturday and a couple other things, I think as of Saturday, which we'll get to that game, they did clinch a playoff spot already. So
they're good. They're good.
Yep.
Sorry, the cat bathing literally like on top of me. Yeah, not really a lot to say about them. I think everyone's been really good. Not gonna lie, I was a little bit worried with them getting Heyo about that Dabinia was gonna maybe lose her spot, but she keeps proving that she's a worthy of being in the starting lineup. Not that Heyo's not, but especially just coming in. I'll be interested to see if they end up having a little bit of a friendly competition for that spot. But it's good to see Dabinia still producing, and same with Jess McDonald and Crystal Dunn as usual. So
yeah, and on the Spirit side, I will say that Aubrey Bledsoe deserves save of the week and probably player of the week for that save that she made on Lynn Williams. That was insane.
I just want to say there are a lot of people who are like, always really not a lot of people. I've seen a couple of people like, oh, what's so good about that save? On the fact that she made it back there after being caught out and hanging out, and I don't know. So
teleported. I'm sorry, she teleported.
Yeah, the save itself, it wasn't like she acrobatically flew through the air or whatever, but the fact that she got back there to make the save.
Yeah.
And then Spirit. Sorry, friends. I don't know. So
one thing, going back to the Courage, I'm so happy Heyo's back.
Yes,
Heyo is one of those players that, she is. It's more than her on the field. It's something about Heather O'Reilly that if she's on your team, you're going to win. She's been a winner at every single level of her life, and I think she's going to take a good team and make them even better, which is terrifying.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
For sure. Alrighty. We'll just scoot along to the Houston Dash against the Pride, and apparently none of my box scores clicked. The one where Marta got a red card?
Yeah, that was weird.
First red card of the season?
Marta.
Right.
We all planned it.
Yes.
Right. Raise your hand if you thought Marta would be the first freaking red card at this point of the season.
In July. In
In
July.
July. Okay.
Weird.
Listen,
Sure,
I have
Jan.
a quick note about Marta. Yeah, like that was like not great of her, but I was just telling Jen this the other day that I'm not necessarily like a huge, I don't know, when Marta plays for Brazil, I'm kind of like, oh, the Brazil theatrics, and it's like sad. But I liked her when she was in WPS, and I think joining the NWSL is like really a good move. Like I appreciate how she carries herself in the NWSL, and I think a lot of people who are been frustrated with Brazil's antics. Not that she's ever been there have been other worse offenders on the Brazilian national
I
team.
was like,
than
be
her.
careful because you're about to lie right there.
No. There have been worse. She does get very antic-full on the national team, but I appreciate how she has. No, I wasn't going to say she didn't. I was just going to say there have been many others who are like that, but. I appreciate that she didn't bring that with her here. The fact that I don't know. I've just liked having her in the NWSL, and that's.
I agree.
But
yeah, I saw somebody. Oh, it was my friend, and I put him into his place. Try to say she didn't deserve a red card, and I was like, dude,
no, she totally
did.
Hand space automatic. This you touch red card.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that, but yeah, I think she's been a really nice like breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
To, like the league. Not that there's not players who haven't, but I know she's brought a lot, I think, and that's good to see her back. But anyways, we have goal scorer Rachel Daly got 2. Awesome. Sydney Leroux, who I think Orlando was actually a really good move for her because she's been great for them this season. Boop. And then I don't know how to say this person's name. Thembi Gatlana. I tried.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. With an assist by Alicia Chapman, which I think is cool because I like Alicia Chapman, and she's been kind of one of those players who bounces around, and I'm glad to see her doing well in Houston. Any other comments on that one?
No.
Cool. All right, moving on. Seattle versus who did they play?
Utah.
Thank you. Goodness. And Utah won that game.
No, it was Seattle.
Seattle won that. No, what? Oh,
yeah.
sorry, I'm looking at
Seattle 1-0.
1-0. Sorry, I was looking at disciplinary, and I was like, wait, I'm pretty sure Seattle won that game, and I'm confused. With Megan Rapinoe, who's also been having a great season with the goal for Seattle, assist by Steph Catley. Rock on. Yeah, sorry, I was looking at the yellow cards, and I was really
They won the yellow card. Yes, they won that match.
They sure
correct.
They sure did, and Gunny's getting close to which more on that when we get to the Orlando Utah game, which was just great. But she's getting there. But
was this yellow Sam Johnson's 5th, or was it this weekend? I can't remember.
I think it was this one in this game. I think.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
To be fair, that's not on Utah. That was mostly from before. So.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Trying to read too many things here at once. Lots of questions about Sky Blue. We're getting there. Don't worry.
Oh yeah.
That's why we're scooting through these games pretty quick, because we want to get to that, and don't you worry, we will get there. Yeah. All right, Seattle, go. Great. Sky Blue. Sky Blue. Sky Blue versus, we're on Saturdays now, Sky Blue versus Carolina. The Lynn Williams show, really. The Lynn Williams, Kristen Hamilton, Abby Erceg. I'm happy to see after, Lynn Williams was injured for a while, and Dabinia got an assist too. Lynn Williams was injured for part of the season, and then was kind of came back and wasn't really like remarkable. I think she was good, but I think this is Lynn Williams' form. I can't say she wasn't good, because she's tied, or at least at the time of that game was tied for top of the league for scoring, but that may have changed after the subsequent game. So I can't really say she wasn't in good form, but I think this is, for those people who have followed like Lynn Williams with the Flash and stuff like that, and the Courage previously, I think this is kind of what they're used to. And I like to see her scoring good goals like that. So
yeah.
I'm having trouble connecting.
Alexa.
Alexa, this doesn't concern you.
Alexa, shut up. You're not even connected to the internet because we got a new internet. It's going to talk again.
Like, well, Sky Blue.
Alexa, this is so sad. Play.
Stop saying her name. You're making it worse. Oh my gosh.
Sorry,
Okay.
I had to do a meme. I
gotta unplug
because
her.
I'm hashtag current and hip with the kids.
Just some. I don't want to like. I don't want to rub it in Sky Blues fans' faces, but the stats. Well, the possession and accuracy were fine, but like the shots and shots on goals for North Carolina compared to Sky Blue were just half. So.
Alexa, stop music.
Did you make yours go off now? Oh boy. Can we pull it together? Does anyone have any? Are we able to pull it together enough to comment? Do anyone have a comment on this game, or are we just gonna?
No, let's pretend it didn't happen.
Hey guys, we've been back. This is our first game first game. We're on the team. First show back in a while, so the fact that we made it this far without a major incident, super great. We're just gonna move on.
Yeah.
Utah versus Orlando. So, yeah, I have some thoughts, but we'll A-Rod scored a great opening goal, assisted by Rachel Corsi. That was cool. That was a nice goal. Good to see A-Rod continuing to score and do well. I'm always I may not be a huge Royals fan, but I appreciate A-Rod and her come back, and she's been doing well this season. So cool. High fives. And then things got like not great. Like I turned the game on late, and then I ended up watching some of the replay. But turned the game on late. Like Allie Krieger and Gunny like collided, and like I don't know, Gunny that game got kind of. I'm surprised she didn't get a red card to be for 2 yellows and ended up getting a red, by the way, because she had this, I guess, style where if a player's if you're both going for the ball, I have no problem if you're both going straight up for the ball, but she a lot of the times was like at an angle going into somebody going for the ball, and that's kind of what she and Allie Krieger kind of knocked heads, and then she held Alana Kennedy in the box, which I know Laura Harvey didn't necessarily think that was a penalty, but I think if you go back and look at it, yes, they were both jostling, but if you have arms wrapped around somebody, that's in that way.
Not great.
Then there was some gamesmanship by Abby Smith, who wanted to just stand 2 feet away from Alex Morgan and have a stare down before she took the while the Utah players were yelling at the or whatever. There was a lot of this game was kind of a chippy, I guess would be a way to describe it, but that's fine. Unfortunately, then well, that happened after. And then Abby Smith came, I don't know what she was doing, but Kristen Edmonds scored in the 52nd minute, assisted by Allie Krieger, because Abby Smith just was like way out of the box. Don't really know. I think Abby Smith is great. Don't really know what happened. And then there was a collision with her and Rachel Corsi, which Alana Kennedy got a yellow card for fouling Corsi. But Corsi was the one who kind of ran into Smith, but Smith was down for an awful long time. And I hope moving forward she's okay. She did get up and walk off, but had to get replaced. Nicole Barnhart, if you have to lose your starting goalkeeper, can't really go. Sucks that Smith got hurt. Can't really go wrong with Barney. So I don't like that. That's how Barney played, but you could do worse.
I will say, Barney's a professional. Like she is always ready to go into the game. When I went to the Royals Red Stars game, there's the part where Abby got ran into the pole or it hit her chest. We thought it was her head from our angle, but she was down for a second. And I mean, Harvey didn't even turn around. Barney was up and sprinting at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like
sure
she is ready. She doesn't need to be like, all right, hey. She's up. She's ready. That's why you have a Barney on your team.
Yep.
I just have to make one more comment about this. Laura Harvey, not happy at halftime, not happy after the game. And I will agree, the officiating this season has been awful. But as much as I don't like to call Laura Harvey out, I think some of the points that she made in her argument about the refs being awful for that game particularly were a little off base about the penalty and about the Smith injury and whatnot. So I certainly understand the frustration and appreciate that people like Laura Harvey will always don't really care if they get fined, will always tell what they feel about the refs. And I get her point of the comments, but I just, for the record, think that some of them were a little off for the specific game, but genuinely for overall, I absolutely agree that it needs to be better.
It's something that's been building in her. So obviously coming from the heat of the game, you're going to have your own goggles, but I mean, she's been building up. And one thing I like as a Sporting KC fan, it hurts to ever compliment a Real Salt Lake team. But they obviously encourage their coaches to speak their mind, because both coaches this weekend went off, both of them. And it's not the first time Mike's done it for the guy. And, I guess, hey, good for that organization, because I think that letting them speak and it kind of go viral and letting people hear these real concerns is important. So,
yeah. Got to protect players.
Oh yeah, so, yeah, for sure. That's just me being a little nitpicky. That I feel like sometimes I don't think for in this situation it lessens the point, but I get it's frustrating, but that's just a little thing that nitpicks me. Is like, well, I get your point, but maybe you weren't as accurate about this game, but it's fine, whatever. We're gonna move on to Red Stars and the Reign. I'm not gonna lie, I have not watched a lot of Red Stars games this season because they were kind of like, It's good to see Sam Kerr doing well. I guess my comment, because she was the lone goal scorer in the end of the match, towards the end of the match that game, assisted by Yuki Nagasato. I guess I'd like to see other people on the team. I guess I'd like to see a better team performance. I don't know that I'm going to be in trouble, but I think I feel like a lot of the goals I'd like to see like a statistic, and I'm sure I could find it. I just don't want to look at it right this second. But I will remind myself for the next show to look this up beforehand. But I want to see the total goals of like Chicago and how many of them are Sam Kerr. And yes, you expect her to score.
It's not as much as you think, actually.
It's not. Is it not?
No.
Hey.
I mean, she is currently the one player that has the most goals in the league right now. I don't remember
that's Haran.
Is it Haran now?
It's Haran. Well, they're both at 9, but I guess assist has Haran in the lead.
Okay, well, I'd prefer Sam Kerr to score more now.
That's surprising, because I just feel like every time I watch a game, or like if I can't watch a game, I look at their replays and stuff like that. I guess it just seems like she's the one scoring goals. So like I said, I want to look at that statistic even to prove myself wrong in my thought process.
Well, I mean, obviously she's going to be the goal scorer. She's Sam Kerr. But Huerta has 5. Nagasata, I can't talk today. Has 4. Has 3.
But Huerta's not on the team anymore.
I get it. I do understand that, but I'm saying like up until that point, it has been spread around.
Right.
And so Huerta had more minutes still than Sam did. So it makes sense. But
yeah.
No, I mean, that's a good point. She's not on the team anymore, but it hasn't just been Kerr. It's been other players as well.
I guess what I mean is that I want to see, since Kerr came back, like I want to see how many of those goals were before, when Kerr wasn't there, I guess, is what I want to look at. But that's just my perspective. And like I said, I want to look up the stat just to prove that my thought process is wrong. I don't doubt what you guys are saying. For me, that's just what it seems like. And I would like to, again, like I said, just prove myself wrong and like see like what the actual breakdown of that is. But
also, I totally forgot about where to get traded. Like,
I wasn't trying to be a jerk, but I was like, I guess, yes, she scored goals on Chicago, but she's not pretty well.
That shows you how much has gone on in this league. That trade, we're like, what? This happened?
God.
It's okay. It's fine.
It's like, not to get political, but it's like, some things you see happening in our national news are like, oh my gosh, that is the biggest story in the world. And then 8 hours later, you're like, oh yeah, that happened. Oh.
I got you. All right. Well, that happened. So we'll just Where was I?
Yeah.
I was on Red Stars in Seattle. Yep, I was. And now we'll finish with.
Not a fun week.
Sorry, did you have something to say, Karen? Did I cut you off?
No, it was not a fun game. There was that like crazy Aaron Gilliland injury.
Yeah.
That was like an injury, and that took like 10 minutes or something, and it was scary. And then was just awful because you could tell like everything just went whoa, and there was like booing and like anger and its chippiness, and it was just bad. So it was not a good game to watch. It was not exciting or anything.
There was stuff that I think happened before the game that just started boiling over to the fans. Some resentment from before the game, and
it wasn't fun.
Gotcha. Well, I am glad that we got an update on Gilliland, that she was pretty much clear of any major like injury, and is, obviously probably maybe we'll have some, I don't necessarily expect to see her back. I don't know the extent of like, could have been I just hit myself real quick and needed a week to, we'll see. But I'm glad that it certainly has been confirmed that something serious and she's just resting up. We'll see, when she ends up coming back, if she does miss any time. But we're very happy that that's not a serious injury, and that she's doesn't have any like damage or actually like a serious injury. So happy to see that. All right. And I keep opening and closing the wrong windows because I'm special like that. And lastly, Portland Thorns and Houston Dash with 2 goals by Haran, and a goal by Ohai, and a goal by the Anna Maria. I don't know how to say her last name.
Chernigoshevich.
That's better than I would have done, so we'll go with that. Well, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I think you said that Haran is now at the top goal scorer, which I don't really have an opinion on. I don't.
Ooh, that's my opinion.
I don't have an opinion, so someone else please do. Again, with Houston, glad to see. I don't know. It's kind of like, I'm glad to see for like the Dash that Rachel Daly and like Ohai are the ones who are actually having really good seasons and being productive. Yeah, I'm glad to see the Dash, even if they're not winning games. I feel like there's like a little bit more cohesion, and they have like improved a lot throughout the season, which, since at the beginning of the season we were all kind of crapping on them and like the coach and everything. I don't know if that's just been like a team driven chemistry change, or like if coaching has played a role into that. I won't speculate either way, but it's good to see them be more of a cohesive, even if they're not winning, they're certainly performing better than they were previously.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Now we can put all of our focus on other teams that need to get yelled at. So
instead
of the Dash.
Wait, there's more than one team that needs to get yelled at?
Well, I meant one specific, but I wasn't necessarily transitioning us to it. I'm just saying, hey, remember what we're like here? I feel like we could put that energy towards maybe a sort of situation.
Hey, but what we should do first? And I have one more thing to mention before that. What we should do first? We should just quickly give predictions for the next.
Oh God, no.
The next.
Oh dear. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Friday, 1 game Friday, Utah versus Courage. I'm gonna go Courage.
Courage.
Yeah. Courage.
Okay. I didn't even get a chance to change the camera because we're just like, yep, nope, Courage, great. All right. Orlando versus Seattle on Saturday. It's the Back to Lifetime game of the week. This gets confusing. Is it the ESPN News game of the week or the Lifetime game of the week? Back on Lifetime at 3:30 in the afternoon this time in Orlando. That'll be fun.
That should be a good game, though.
Yeah, that'll be super. Yeah, it will be a good game. Everyone will like pass out from the heat, but that's okay. Hopefully not hydrate people. Water breaks. I'm gonna go. Oh, this is hard. I'm gonna say Orlando, even though I don't know if that's gonna go that way. Karen?
Seattle.
Danielle?
I'm going with Orlando just because it's been hot, and I think that she'll bring it.
Also, I forgot to mention when I talked about Orlando, Allie Krieger 100 NWSL caps Saturday. Well done.
And Beverly Yanez as well.
Oh, really? I didn't even see that anywhere. I wish they would have covered that more. But good for her. I love that. I know. I will say that. I genuinely would have covered that more.
I wish I had a tea. But,
Woo! All right. Moving on to Washington Spirit and Houston Dash. I do want to say Dash. I will be maybe sleeping on the couch with the cats tonight if I do. So I will pull the wife card and say I will pick the I will pick the Spirit.
boo. I got a draw, but boo.
It's okay. Listen, you know how many times that she sat next to me and I have rooted against her team? The least I could do is like throw her a bone one game. So, Karen?
I think it's probably going to be a draw as well. I think Washington's going to bring it.
I sure hope so. They're a team that I wonder, like,
seriously,
how much Gabara has, and I don't even know that it's Gabara. That's a whole nother story, but and finally, Sky Blue in Portland. This really hurts me. I don't want to pick Portland, but I'm certainly gonna pick Portland because I'm sorry, Sky Blue fans. I just don't see it happening.
I don't apologize. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no.
Well, knowing things that I know, knowing things that we all know, it's going to be Portland, even though that hurts me as well.
And Danielle is not apologetic, and it's probably.
I'm not apologetic. I mean, they know as much as we do that it's effed up there. So
yeah,
totes fair.
I would love for it to be their first win. First win, by the way. A team could clinch the Shield this weekend.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to shout out to Starkiller for once again providing us with the knowledge and the facts that we often don't look up ourselves.
No, research sucks.
So thank you, Starkiller. It's very appreciative for giving us those stats. So yeah, Courage win, the clinch home field advantage. If the Courage win and Seattle does not beat Orlando, they clinch the Shield.
And Sky Blue still doesn't have a win.
And there's that. All right. So I was going to mention something about like some comments that Paul Riley and Laura Harvey made, I guess, regarding them pulling people for Tournament of Nations. I'll just quickly say that, just to quit. If you guys have anything to add, I won't talk long about it. But I actually, again, for non-allocated players that NWSL is paying, I totally get the frustration of them being pulled into camp, missing a weekend of NWSL when no other team in Tournament of Nations is doing that. So I just want to say that really quickly. If people didn't see the comments, I think Paul Riley initially, and I think Laura Harvey has spoken out since then, just to say, like, I get that, if you want to pull the allocated players, Jill Ellis, you pay their salary, go for it, but that it's frustrating. And I think he even said that he told Jill Ellis.
Can't hear you.
Oh, crap. Am I better?
You did it. You covered, yeah.
My hand was on the microphone, sorry.
Yeah, it was.
I was just saying, I think Paul Riley had even told Jill Ellis that he wasn't releasing his Courage players the weekend early, who weren't allocated, those who were allocated. I think he said he wasn't releasing those players, and I guess he never heard back from her. So I don't know if he really will do that or not. We'll see, I guess. But just a little, I guess, information. Just a couple of coaches speaking out about that, and we know as fans we're all frustrated about it, and it's one thing with the allocated players, but I get the frustration when you have players that the team is essentially paying that just are not going to be there, when again none of the other teams in Tournament of Nations who have players going to the tournament will be missing that weekend. So
we shouldn't pull allocated players either. There's a reason international dates exist at Jill Ellis.
Yep. Listen, I agree with that. I think all the coaches agree with that. I think in those comments from Paul Riley were basically just saying, like, I know I'm not going to win that battle, so I'm going to tell you that I'm going to win the other battle of you're not taking my non-allocated players the weekend early. But that's just kind of that. we're going to talk about Sky Blue. I'm going to start with Danielle and put you down for a second because I just heard one being sad. So, Danielle, I'm going to let you start talking about this and I will be back in a second.
So I'm sure we've all heard about the Sky Blue article that came out today. It was behind a paywall, which I have lots of opinions about that. Basically detailing a lot of the conditions that are happening right now with, or in years past, that can't necessarily speak for right now because they're former players, about, living conditions, which is shameful. One thing that stuck out to me was the couple of them were placed with an older man who made comments that made them feel uncomfortable, and then they were told that, well, if you want to move out, you have to pay your own housing, which is, Karen, you and I have talked about it, but I think that is so shameful that it should be a scandal in the state of New Jersey that the governor is a co-owner of a team that put the safety of his players in that position. I mean, I think that should be national news. Yep. The fact that the governor, like I said, the governor of New Jersey owns a team where those women, I'm not saying that old man, creepy old man would have done anything, but what if he did?
He easily could have. They put him and them in a position where that could have been the case.
And it probably didn't, but somebody pointed out there is an article that came out right before we came to the show. Started the show. Thrace put out a non-paywall article, which has most of the same information. I don't know if it has about as much of the living conditions, but yeah, Karen, you and I have been talking a lot about that, and I was so angry that I was literally shaking.
Yep.
So
I punched things today. I punched pillows in bed, and I punched things.
And people in the chat or people can tweet us, but my first thought with it was Stanley was talking about it. She was talking about how she injured her shoulder, and she had went to the doctor and all that, and a real team would have covered that because it's workplace injury. My workplace would have covered if I would have hurt myself at work, and I have an office job. So she went into collections over that. Who here thought immediately of Magic Dan? That's first thing. And wasn't the whole point of this league that Magic Dan, Magic Jack was never going to happen again?
Yep. And it did. 6 years into this league that we have, 6 years in, where we wouldn't expect something like this to happen. And it's been happening probably for like the last 6 years.
Maybe even in the last league.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't really know for sure.
But yeah, so that has, people saying they threw their phone earlier with it. Like,
did we say, sorry, I had to walk away.
Yeah.
For frame of reference, we got a kitty and she's trying to eat the dog food.
Cool.
Did we say who wrote that other article that came out before?
Trace was the one that just came out, but you mean the original?
No, I meant the one that just came out. I didn't get to look. I know you sent it to us before the show, but I didn't get to see it. But I just wanted to.
Yeah, it was Thrace.
Okay. Well, I think it's good that there's more than one article about it out from different sources, I guess.
Yeah, especially the first one was.
I was going to say, go ahead.
One thing I'm going to say is I personally understand paywalls. I think The Atlantic is an awesome model. I love what The Atlantic is doing. And I have a friend who writes for them, Lindsay, who she's a baseball beat writer, and she gets yelled at every day on Twitter about her articles being behind a paywall. And that's just the site model. But I do have an issue with two things with this specific article. One, there is non-paywall articles on this site. So there is free content on the site. So you have to make the decision, is it going to be a monetized one or is it a free one? Now, most of their big articles are monetized, but you have the infrastructure in place to do both. And two is the response to people saying, hey, man, this is a big article. This should be free so we can share this. If your response is it's $5 a month, then you're a jerk. Because for some people, for a lot of people, $5 a month is a lot of money. So that's pretty shitty of all the people who were saying, oh, pay for the content. Well, you know, if it's an article about player X has such an inspirational backstory, it is so inspiring, and let me write a detailed piece about it, that's paywall stuff. Give me that, inject that stuff into my veins. I will throw my money at you. When it involves the governor of New Jersey owning a team where a player was put into an unsafe position, then fuck you.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of that too, the thing with this article is I didn't really realize that it was paywalled at first. So then I was sending it off to all of my friends who don't really follow women's soccer, but who are like involved in like human rights issues. They're like, oh, it's paywalled. And I was like, what? And I figured out that it was paywalled. Here's the problem with that. Like, they aren't going to pay $5 a month to get access to a women's soccer media site. So these are all people that you're missing because you're charging $5 a month to access this one article that they want to share. It could have millions of hits because people who care about this issue, even if they don't care about soccer, everybody, yeah. Everybody wants to hear about this issue. Everybody in New Jersey, because it's a team owned by their governor. Like, hell, this should be a scandal that like everybody in at least New Jersey, if not the whole country, should be involved in. They should know these details, but they aren't going to because none of them want to pay $5 a month to get access to this article. So you're missing all of these hits. And all of these that could get like your subscription link is on the bottom. And so what people are doing instead is they're just screen capping the article and sending it to their friends, and you don't get shit from that. So like you have to like take aside like the humanity part of it. Just like as a business model, it's just not smart. It's not smart to make it so that you get less hits. People aren't going to subscribe to this who are not in the WOSO community. Nobody wants to do that. If somebody sent me a Colin Kaepernick article about kneeling and I was like, oh man, I'm like totally involved in this situation, and I clicked on it, but I'm not a hand egg fan, you know, like I'm not gonna pay however many dollars to read this paywalled article because I'm not gonna read other articles about the sport. Yeah. So that's exactly what you're gonna get with this, and that's just not intelligent in my opinion, and it has nothing to do with, I don't want to pay $5 a month to read articles that people work hard on. Has nothing to do with that.
And I didn't mean to rant. I think we're, you know, ranting too much about the article, and I started it, so I do apologize about, I think the bigger issue is what's happening, but I don't think either of us would have been this pissed if it wasn't for the responses that some people were giving Twitter users, and I think that's what got us angry. Yeah. So I like Equalizer. I love the paywall model. It is genius. Just not this time. And please don't be jerks when people can't afford $5 because times is tough. Some mama might be losing her job. You know, she doesn't have money. So Karen lost her, you know, it's like, but I think the big issue, sorry to go off onto that tangent, is fuck Sky Blue. And, you know, remember, meeting minimum standards is not good.
Nope. And the fact that the owner felt like that was, or was he the GM, felt like that was an appropriate response to fans who were concerned is, well, we are meeting the minimum requirements. I don't even think they are meeting the minimum requirements. They have porta potties at their facilities.
They don't have showers.
Yeah, no showers. Like if they're living in a house with a randy old creeper man who is saying things that make them uncomfortable and you're
windows
to get them out of there, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, and Alyssa had pointed out, and it wasn't just the creepy old man. Other houses had cardboarded windows with plastic bags, comforters stuck into the walls, which, I mean, that's cool if you're living in under those conditions, but these are professional athletes. So,
yeah.
Are we even screening the people for the hosting a player thing.
No, apparently not, because in the Thrace article, I think Stanley was the one who said this, but she said that she was in a family that was pissed off when she would come home like late from an away game, and then they were also getting pissed off because she wasn't babysitting their children. So I mean, come on.
Yeah, these are.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. We've been talking a lot, so I didn't mean to interrupt. But
no, I just was going to say I don't really have a lot. I think the situation is horrible, and I would like to see the league investigate into that, because I don't know that should not be okay, and if the league thinks that that's acceptable, that's problematic, certainly. I'm going to perhaps cowardly refrain from commenting on the paywall thing, just because.
Yeah, no, and we talked too much about it. That's
fine. I'm gonna just decline to comment, but yeah, I'm interested to see, now that there's multiple pieces about this out, children. I'm interested to see what happens next. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good.
I'm interested to see what happens next, and I don't know what will happen. I don't actually know what the actual like minimum league standards are. I feel like, is that available somewhere to look at? Because we know sometimes the league does not necessarily post a lot of things on there.
Nothing is available for us to look at. Nothing.
They do have, like, the league rules are on there, but I know sometimes it's been hard to get even an updated copy of those. So it's gotten, but that has gotten better in recent years. But right, I don't know what the minimum standards are, what the requirements for teams and housing and stuff. I don't know what those are. Again, not knowing any of those, I can't imagine what is being reported as having had happened is acceptable, though. So in that case, I would like to see what happens next. Like, does the league take action? What action could the league take? Did they investigate themselves and speak to the players who at least have been named and say, like, we want you to talk to us about this? I don't know what happens, but I will say I have seen a lot of questions of, well, how come this, none of this was investigated, or none of this came out until essentially Sam Kerr said something about it. And it's like, if there's people who still don't want to be named, these people are still playing.
These two people who she wouldn't name.
Right,
yeah.
And Stanley is not in the league, currently. So and has been outspoken about a lot of things that she has seen wrong with the league, and which I appreciate. But she has a little less to lose as far as going on record about this. But I mean, there are people who don't want to go on record about this. So for people who are asking why, if we knew that things were bad, why didn't anyone say anything about it? And it's like, well, what do you do when you're already getting paid like nothing to play the sport that you love, and you're considered a professional, and they are professional, but they don't get treated. I did this because they don't get treated like professionals a lot of the time. But what, what I mean? Like, I can understand, like, you're already in a bad situation. What that people that, that are supposed to be the ones taking care of you put you in. What happens if you say something about it and you still want to play professional soccer and want to play in the league? Not everyone has the option to go overseas and play professionally elsewhere. So, like, just a comment, because I saw a lot of, like, well, how come we're just hearing about this now? Listen, there's a lot of reasons why we're just hearing about this now, and paywall. I do appreciate everyone who has done research.
Hi, kitty cat.
Hi, Nala. That's not the new one. That's Nala. I appreciate everyone, and I hear a little echo, so sorry. I appreciate everyone who has done work researching, verifying, interviewing, whatever this situation, and then published it. But there's reasons why we haven't heard about it until now. And Sam Kerr's comments, I think, made a lot of people scratch their heads, but I don't know that people knew it was this bad either. So, and again, if they did, there's reasons for not saying it until now.
why didn't they say anything? We live in the Me Too era. Like, haven't we got past that? Haven't we learned enough to victims aren't empowered always to say what they think? And two, you know why Sam Kerr said something? The NWSL, which has become an issue, especially in the last couple months, is run by U.S. Soccer.
Yep.
They're run by U.S. Soccer. U.S. Soccer runs everything in this country. You know, that's a whole different rant. So if these players ever want a chance for a national team call up, or even, you know, maybe even reffing when they're done with their playing career, which is what a lot of players want to do, they get their licenses. If they go and speak out, is that going to jeopardize? Sam Kerr is the best player in the world, and she's Australian. She had nothing to lose. And yeah, coaching is something other players do. That's a good point. Sam Kerr has nothing to lose. That's why Sam Kerr said something. Stanley is, that's why I appreciate what Stanley has said this whole time, is she wants to do a lot of stuff in soccer afterwards. And she realizes that, hey, it's worth the risk and I'm going to use my voice. And I think that she's put herself in a position where I don't know if it can harm her as much as, you know, maybe other people, because again, people know her. She's very lucky in that aspect. But yeah, I have to look at U.S. Soccer at this point and put a lot of the blame on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to back off of what you said earlier, the thing about players too is that I think this really highlights just generally what is going on in this league, in soccer in the United States in general, especially with the women's side, is that there's a lot of privilege involved in playing in the NWSL, honestly. There's a lot of privilege involved because it really doesn't pay enough for you to live off of still, even though every year it gets to the minimum wage of NWSL players gets higher each year, which is good. It's still not a livable wage, honestly. So you have these players who are in Sky Blue right now who are playing. They don't really have a lot of options. So if they're put into a living situation that is horrific and they can't find somewhere else to live that they can afford, then they're screwed, basically. But a lot of these players, I think, probably have parents who can potentially help them and things like that. And what happens if you're a player who doesn't have that, right? You're stuck. And that's why you see a lot of these players retiring and things like that. I'm surprised that Sky Blue hasn't seen more retirements because these players are living in such horrific conditions. I'm surprised they weren't just like, I quit. And like Danielle just said in the chat, New Jersey is really expensive. It's not an easy place to live.
There.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not easy for players who are there to afford living there on their own. They would have to have parents that have a lot of money. They would have to have their team supporting them, right? And that's not something that everybody has. And I think that's a problem that across the league. But if you're in a place like Sky Blue where all of this is happening, it's especially worse.
Yeah. Any other anything else to add? Any kind of closing?
Fuck U.S. Soccer.
Oh. Yeah.
Whoops. I realized today I made the connection that I think U.S. Soccer is the reason the NWSL doesn't have a commissioner, and so it totally made sense at that point because they wouldn't want to pay Amanda Duffy and somebody else. If that's true, if that's not true, I don't care, but that's what I believe. So I'm choosing to put a lot of blame on a pretty effed up situation, pretty effed up organization. So that's just my last thought.
I think if U.S. Soccer is the organization that is like overseeing, it's the umbrella organization, they need to look into this. They can't ignore it. They can't be like, oh, whatever, because they control everything that NWSL does. NWSL front office is all U.S. Soccer employees.
Mhm.
They control all of this. They need to look into it. They can't just like expect Amanda Duffy to do it when she's getting probably like crap non-commissioner pay anyways to do what she does. And they need to look into this. They need to take some responsibility, and they need to stop ignoring NWSL to the point where NWSL doesn't have any kind of autonomy, but they still aren't getting any kind of aid or assistance from U.S. Soccer at the same time. It's a shitty place to be in for the people that are working for NWSL right now.
Couple good points in the chat. One, USL thought it could work. People could say I'm crazy that I'm actually thinking that it might be good. I think we'd have to figure out allocations for money and how that would work, because I don't think teams could afford national teams salary at this point, but I think USL has a good structure. And two, somebody pointed out a specific player of the year who plays for Sky Blue who hasn't said anything. I mean, I know this is her first season there, so I'm willing to give her a little leeway. You know, I don't necessarily like said player, but there was also another player who was there last year who kept their mouth shut. And maybe this will get me in a lot of trouble with people because nobody likes it. But I'm just saying there's a player there last year who was also with Magic Jack and didn't say anything. So
You're right.
I'm just going to sit here and not comment on it.
I don't feel bad. People don't talk. People blame Abby for a lot of that, but I'm just saying Abby wasn't the only one.
You're right.
So,
Okay. Well, we've now reached the point where Courtney gets awkward in the show. So
do you want to talk about somebody earlier had the question about if the Courage could win the champions thing. That's a good ending thing, right?
Yeah, sure. We'll scoot back to that. And I guess end on a maybe happier note. Like, win the championship, I don't know. I feel like if they win the Shield, like they're projected to, according to history, probably not. Would I love to see them break that you win the Shield, you don't win the championship first? Yes.
Well, I think we're talking about International Champions Cup.
Oh, like Leon and all that, right?
Sorry, I got distracted by just wanting to I got off track. That question was asked a while ago. I don't know, but I think it'll be very interesting to see those games. Well, hopefully will we be able to watch those games somewhere? I hope so. Have they said that? I don't know. I think that'd be like a super interesting just because they're. I would think it would be interesting to see them play. I would say I like to say they have a pretty good chance. That's just my opinion, but. I think they'll be good games, though. I'm pumped that they're a part of it. That's my thought.
I think that they're probably going to win, honestly. I think they're going to win.
Being on home soil is a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I just think it's cool that they're having a women's international champion cup, whatever it's called.
Good first step.
That's cool. Like, I know we always complain about, well, why isn't there more? I think that's cool. This is a thing that the men do, and it'd be nice. It's good to see that they're having a women's one. I think that's really cool, and hopefully that continues and it will grow. Yeah, I think that's great. And the men's World Cup just ended, so the World Cup, the World Cup again. The 2019 World Cup is in less than a year, so. I guess if I'm going to call it the Men's World Cup, I can call it the Women's World Cup, but I'm just going to call it the 2019 World Cup because I hate that the men's is the World Cup and the women's is the Women's World Cup. So I'm just going to say the 2019 World Cup is coming up.
I call them both World Cups.
Yeah, yep. Well, they are. Or you can do it Abby Wambach's been doing the whole the whole last month. She kept emphasizing the Men's World Cup is on. The Men's World Cup is on. The Men's World Cup final is on, everybody. Oh, France won the Men's World Cup. Awesome. Which I think is hilarious because that's they do it with the women's, with the Women's World Cup. So I think that's hilarious. Fine, you're going to call it the Women's World Cup obnoxiously. We're going to call it the Men's World Cup obnoxiously. And that's great. I love watching her tweet about the Men's World Cup. So
Also, FIFA's corrupt because FIFA's the one who demands that people call it the Women's World Cup.
Yep.
Broadcasters aren't allowed to call it just the World Cup. It's FIFA. So,
Yep.
I mean, I'm bashing U.S. soccer. I'm bashing teams. I gotta get the FIFA bashing in.
well, I mean, we know FIFA is corrupt, so I don't really know. And Jen was half convinced Russia was going to win the World Cup because why not?
Yep.
I mean, look, the next Men's World Cup, they awarded it to like Qatar, and it's going to be in November. Happy Thanksgiving! The Men's World Cup's on. Like, I don't.
Stupid.
I mean, it's better than playing in the summer. It's better than them playing in like 1,000-degree heat and dying in the summer. But like, what? Like, hey, happy Thanksgiving. Granted, I know Americans are the only, and I know the Canadians have Thanksgiving, I think, in November too. I know Thanksgiving is not a worldwide thing. However, personally, it's going to be real weird. Like, hey, happy Thanksgiving for the middle. And half the world's getting ready for half the Catholic, Christmas. Half people are going to be getting ready for half the world's going to be getting ready for Christmas while the Men's World Cup is on. So Hanukkah, whatever holiday that happens, Kwanzaa that happens in like the winter time, like all happening like right around the Men's World Cup. It's going to be weird.
Also, it's the Premier League season, and
I know. I'm so upset about that.
I don't even care about holidays because the stadiums are built with slave labor. So, anyways, good show.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a good place to end bashing FIFA and the Men's World Cup. I'm down with it.
Yep.
Hey, we'll hopefully not be gone again for a month. We'll be back at some point. Hopefully a little bit more regularly, but at least this one didn't break. See, I wish good luck. I entitled this episode 15. We hope this one doesn't break, and it didn't. So, woo! So yeah, we'll be back at some point. Keep watching our social media. We had a couple of new viewers today, new subscribers. So thanks if this is your first time watching.
Yeah.
Or maybe you've watched before and it's your first time commenting in the chat. That's awesome. Appreciate it. So hope you tell your friends if you liked what you saw here. And we thank you for hanging out with us. And we will see you soon and end as we normally do with a little wave goodbye. All right. See y'all.